Hello. You're the only one here so far, which means you can test my audio levels. Congratulations. Considering the fact that we used this one as one of the ducking tests, it should still be in a pretty good spot, especially since I turned the game audio down a little bit in general. But right now I'm just idling on the menu, so I have no idea what we're going to end up seeing or hearing right away. At the very least, I know Ben is going to lurk at work, and I know he also is pretty excited for this one, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Oh, hey, speak of the devil. That's good. Well, I'm excited. Hopefully, other people pop in. I don't know if I'll end up showing off the spider's thread or not. This is an updated version of the game since the last time you two saw any of it, where there's a couple new abilities, which we'll hopefully get. I'm not going to go for 100% completion since I've already platinumed the game. But there are new things on the skill tree in the main game, a couple new items, things like that. And then the spider's thread is kind of like an endless dungeon mode that just exists as extra content, which I've tested out a little bit. It seems pretty cool. It's got like a unique version of the skill tree with a bunch of extra stuff in it. But I don't know when I would, since it's sort of integrated into the story, but only lightly because it's not, required or anything like that. So maybe at some point I'll try it out in the middle. We'll see how it goes. But I am going to do new game, and just for the sake of speeding through for the stream, I'm just going to do it normal. And then it's going to run me through all the, whoa, you unlocked literally everything thing.
お兄さんですか。妹さんの容体が良くない。急いでください。
But yeah, I'm definitely curious to have folks stop in and experience like the entire story and everything. It's really good. Especially now completing it. It's also been a while since I've seen the front half as well.
自分一人で生きてるんだね。
そうじゃないんだ。
I think it is Japanese only. I'm pretty sure.
このまま行かないでくれ。
I could certainly check, but I will say that it adds to the very obvious authenticity of all of it. Yeah, I definitely understand the need for... The lag is much worse tonight. When you say lag, do you just mean me in response? I know that it's not going to help because I'm responding to it a little bit late. I'm just now focusing on the 429 sign with the watch billboard underneath it. Now the motorcycle, etc. So we'll see how bad the delay is. Okay, that's not that bad then. Also, just very good performances in general. I also kind of forget that you even see other people at any point. Well, Dead Air, right now I'm also just not talking a lot because it's the opening story cinematic and I don't want to go too ham over it, even though it's not like you're not just going to be reading it. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a fair bit of Dead Air for right now. Once we get more into the actual open world and everything, it'll be a little bit more chat heavy on my end. Mostly because the cinematic is really cool and sets the tone. Also, hello, fourth viewer. Glad you're stopping in, even if you haven't started chatting yet. You are also on mobile, Ben, so that could be a portion of it too. I love like just immediately the reveal of this too. It's such a great opening. You're just immediately thrown clean into it. Although I get what you mean, Ben. You're all good. It's just the ghosts working their way through your data plan. I do really genuinely love how the storyline just immediately thrusts this kid straight into all of this crap with like you're supposed to be just as confused as he is, and I love it.
私だけが君たちを救う。君たちの魂は純化され、来るべき世界の礎となる。すでに器は整った。それは魂の住まうべきところだ。さあ、集え。 良き終わりはそこにある。
It's a pile of clothes. It's not just the pants. Only some people's souls are stored in the pants. just a little ways to go too. We should be getting into tutorial zone pretty quickly.
何言ってんだよ。そもそもあんた一体。
おい、抵抗するな。体はもう俺のもんだ。お前はさっき死んだ。俺が出ていけばお前は終わる。
そんな。どうすれば。
お前に選択肢などない。俺に従え。
嫌だ。僕にはやらなきゃいけないことがある。
やらなきゃいけないこと知るかい。うだうだ言うなら他を探す。お前は終わりだ。
他誰もいないぞ。
こいつ
悪霊だか死神だか知らないが、この体は僕のものだ。あんたの指示は受けない。
そうかよ。だったら力ずくで奪うまでだ。
Just channeling a little bit of Bruce Campbell to start the story out. Oh, hey, this is kind of a celebratory. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's been so long. A Shadow of Mordor type. Except with different stylistic decisions. Like those chapter cards. God, that's good. I forgot about how good those look. Alright. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. Let me double check the settings really quick, because this is the type of game where that audio that just popped up as a subtitle is coming through the controller speaker. So let me make sure that you can hear that too. If not, it isn't a huge deal. Shoot, I guess not. It might be in, like, the main settings. Kind of a bummer, but you'll be able to hear it. You're also almost not far off based on that phrasing. It's been a while since I've been this close to the mist. Can we actually start with all three? We do. Okay, but they are in, like, slow. And they're super. Super weird. Like, this is the first time in a while that I've had the volume low enough where the controller volume is, like, kind of totally taking over. It also might just be low on the TV. Maybe you can hear his voice actor. Okay. So right now, our fog of spook is pretty narrow, or broad, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Our uncovered area is understandably low. It's following kind of traditional open world mechanics where we need to, you know, activate certain points on the map in order to unlock more of the map. Except in this instance, instead of it just being obscured from map view, it is actively hostile. Which I can't do right now. Thank you, tutorial. Basically, the fog will kill the shit out of you if you walk into it. Like I mentioned, I did platinum fully. but there isn't a traditional New Game Plus. After Chapter 2, I should be able to go in and at least change my clothes, because a lot of that changed. I guess I can't pick anything up right now. The graffiti is a new collectible. But we're going to be going through the skill tree normally. There's no carryover for that. Although there are some equipable things that will help us a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to use those. Well, this is, it's made by the team that worked on Evil Within, which I don't know if that was first person or not. But it's, you know, published by Bethesda, and one of the people that led combat design worked on Doom 2016 and tried to have kind of a carryover between the supernatural stuff in this and the shooting mechanics from that. It's not as fast or as snappy as Doom 16, but the first-person view was an intentional thing to kind of help show off the like the hand seals and everything that get used in place of guns. So, you know, I don't have any weapons or anything like that. I'm just kind of using wind element finger bullets. And a lot of that becomes more stylized and intimate just by being in first person. It was a very intentional decision. I mean, obviously it was an intentional decision, but I actually, like, just read into that a little bit. And pretty soon we're going to be hitting some of our first sort of for real combat. We're going to be kind of on rails for a little bit while we get to Chapter 2. Right now we're obviously on 1 still. But a lot of this is basically just here, get used to the controls, get used to the environment, get used to this kind of stuff. I almost want to turn the controller volume up and have it closer to the microphone so that it sounds like he's commentating. But I don't know how clean that'd be, and it might be more trouble than it's worth. Yeah, here's our stealth tutorial. I don't know if I'll be able to do a quick purge this early. I forget if that was a thing that I had to unlock or not. You totally can. Here's your stealth kit. So when you say palm the ghosts to make them your friends, you're not super far off. They never work on your side. Really is putting me on rails on this. That's fair, though. Kind of requiring you to get the charge attack makes sense. So now we have that. I'm also not worried about collectibles. Like I said, I've already completed the game completely, so I want to just focus on going through the story so we don't lose too much momentum, since a lot of it is really good in succession. There's a couple side quests that I'm probably going to do as well, because they lead to some pretty interesting areas or effects and stuff like that. But yeah, animations like that really sell up well. And then you get the core grabs, which in first person are like one of my favorite looking things in a modern first person game, I honestly think. That mechanic gets really cool looking when you get better and deeper into the combat. Because as far as I'm aware, there's not a limitation to how many exposed... That's exposing a target's core, by the way. I don't think there's a limitation to how many cores you can grab as long as the targets are visible and exposed. So, by all rights, you should theoretically be able to grab like 5 or 6 that way, and the animation does change based on the amount to a degree. It's really, really cool. I'm not used to my rate of fire being this slow. Or my charge speed being that slow. do it from more or less any range. There's a bunch of variety in the animations that trigger when you're doing it. It works at pretty much any range. I will eventually get ones that work at point blank. It is, yes, Kujikiri is the direct influence for those hand seals. Like, they call out basically using karate instead of guns as a main thing, too. Unfortunately, Maverick Strike is basically worthless, but it's not really focused on the game, so it's not the worst. But yeah, since I've been talking and subtitles can be a little bit harder to follow on stream like this, right now we are in this hospital because Akito's sister is hospitalized here, and that is where he was on his way to when the accident happened and the mist rolled in. And we're also going to start getting more of like the jump scare adjacent psychedelic stuff as well. It's not going to kick in quite as much until some more intricate missions, but stuff like that will be happening. So it's totally worth keeping an eye out for. They're really cool. And like definitely a highlight of the environmental design. There were some... Yeah, I love it. There were some complaints from people that it's not as horror focused as Evil Within was, which was a full-on survival horror game. It's supposed to be more of a blend, and a lot of the appeal comes from the injection of, you know, the Japanese folklore and mythology and everything as a broader part of the appeal. But I think it's a really comfortable medium. I'm sorry to hear that it's skipping so much on your end. I mean, worst case, I'll have the VOD save too. You'll be able to skim through that at your discretion and everything. But I know you're not in an ideal viewing position. Getting just a little bit more plot reveal going on. I was actually, it's crazy that you said the God Drip thing just then. I was literally just about to talk about how much I love the tech wear and like clothing outfit design. I also love the way he speaks too. Even if it is pretty traditional kind of flowery villain type stuff, but it just works really well. Lucky is a word for them. I feel like upon seeing them, the phrasing might change up a little bit, but we'll see. So anyway, we're calling him Hanya because he's wearing a Hanya mask and we don't know his true identity. It's sort of almost intentionally uncreative in that regard. And he now has our sister, and fuck that.
現世の時間で3秒呼吸1回分で終わりだ
嫌だまだ死ねない
一つだけ方法がある体をよこせ妹は助けてやる
あんたを信じろってのか
無理にとは言わこのままお前は死に妹はあいつに蹂躙される
Just the imagery is so good.
僕は消えるのか
さあな祈れ
There'll be a line coming up in a mission not too far off from where we're at right now that will also confirm whether or not this update has changed up the localization, because there were some unhappy fans that retranslated stuff and realized that some of the kind of modern, traditional, crappy, inject your own politics into the subtitles that you're translating, localizing stuff. And I think that the updates that came out to like add the new mode and everything also fixed some of that translation. But I don't know that much outside of the one line, so that'll kind of be my tip-off. And otherwise I just won't know if that's the case or not. I'm pretty positive that it was a sweeping thing. So we'll see if anything else kind of is noteworthy from the first half of the game, since that's what I played through when it was unpatched. Basically up through the end of chapter 3. Maybe it was 4. I think it was 3. 3's...
俺には戸締まりしろってうるさいくせにこれだよマリー
Over time, it's going to be slowly gone into exactly what all happened previously to lead to this point. Some of it's a little obvious right now, but there's more to it.
しっかりしてくれよ
僕は消えなかったのか
神様に感謝するんだなチッター見られる顔になったじゃねえか
黙れ
で体はもらっていいんだよな
約束はしていない現に僕はここにいる
おい
Managed to avoid dying for the second time.
居心地はだいぶ良くなったぜ
妹を連れて行ったやつの居場所を知りたい
あいつは目的のために大掛かりな儀式をやるはずだ
じゃあそこに行けば
That should happen soon.
今みたいに返り討ちだ焦るなよ今度は俺の行きたい場所に行ってもらうぞ
just about done with the hospital. Barring side quests and stuff, there won't be any reason to come back here. But you are able. There aren't really any points of no return outside of some very obvious stuff at the end, and then you can do New Game Plus adjacent file stuff to go back and grab stuff. There's only 3 side quests the entire game that become locked off to you. And it tells you explicitly when that is going to happen. It's a really nice point of no return alert. I don't even think you can button mash through it by mistake.
だろうな。あいつの計画通りなら外との連絡も遮断されているはずだ。
ずっとあいつを追っていたのか？
ああ、やられちまったけどな。無駄話は終わりだ。行くぞ。
And yeah, no worries, Ben. I appreciate you trying to stop in. Right now, we're on kind of the slow burn path right now anyway, so if you cut off work early, not obviously not really. Can I kill him by the mist yet? Yes, you can. Okay, cool. Yeah, the fog will kill you. So there's your confirmation on that. Food all over the place.
何か入ってるのか。
食べ物がある。
使えるものは使っておけ。こんな。
One neat detail that I will point out early just because, not by hitting that button, by hitting this button, is that the database has details on, all of the tutorial-related stuff, obviously, and then, collectible files and, pickups and stuff like that, characters. But it will also give you descriptions of the food items that you pick up as actual cultural lessons instead of their context within the game as healing items, which I thought was really neat. A lot of it is kind of just like, hey, English voice or English nation audience, learn about our culture, and it's stuff that I'm sure a lot of people that bought the game would already know just because of obvious fandom related stuff. But I thought it was a neat detail. We're going to be picking up some artifacts and stuff like that later on for some side quests, not 100%ing it again, but it'll help with skill points when applicable. And it does the same thing for those too, for relics. Is there anywhere I can stealth you, or am I... Mostly to kick off a little bit easier. Not worth it. Luckily, the earlier enemies scale pretty nicely. If I can get a multi-grab just to show that off. Yeah, this. Oh, not if you hit me. Ah, no. That ruined that. So, the core grab opening is interesting in that once you kind of whiff the opportunity, you're more likely to just kill them. That doesn't matter a ton starting out, but there are certain things later on that grabbing cores will be helpful for. It's not like a currency or anything like that, but it will have mechanical benefits. And so now we're at a shrine, and cleansing shrines is your traditional map unlock feature, with the really cool visual twist, or spin, I guess. It's, cleansing them reactivates them, and they basically suck away the mist, or blow away the mist. And it cleanses the whole area. It's a really good piece of visual flair. And then by doing that, we are able to pick up additional items and equipment. And there's... I don't know if I have full access to any of them right now, but there are things everywhere. like dogs. All Shiba, naturally.
あれを見ろ。止めるぞ。今ならまだ助けられる。これ以上奴らに好き勝手させるな。
Miss my high rate of fire. So essentially, these are events that are limited. Like, this isn't RNG. Well, I think there's a certain degree of RNG to it, but essentially the ones that exist. And if you free them, they're saved. If you don't, then they're gone for that save. The spirits being captured in the cubes. There are going to be spirits absolutely everywhere, but the cube ones are specific to that type of overworld event.
吸い込まれた。
うまくいったか。あとは近くに公衆電話はないか。
今時そんなもの。
いいから探せよ。
Are now looking for a phone booth. We're going to grab a little bit of cash first, though. So these are ether crystals. Everything that I've been palming to get elemental energy out of. Right now, only wind. Are ether crystals. It's basically just, you know, a variation on ectoplasm or whatever you want to call it. Spirit energy. So, like, this bicycle is also technically an ether crystal. And then what comes out of it is the energy being used for attacks. So we are definitely going to be grabbing spirits that aren't ridiculously out of the way, just for the sake of, again, experience and stuff like that. It's very, very helpful. Can't do anything with these just yet. Don't know if this is one. Yeah, it is. So these corruptions are spooky. So that's a, you know, a spirit is trapped in there, or technically a large portion of spirits. There's never just one. You're basically collecting hundreds of people at a time. And then, if it weren't already obvious, the spirits that you're collecting are the people that have been phased out by the fog. Pretty positive we're still kind of on rails to our first phone booth right now. Okay, yeah, I remember exactly where it's at the moment. The first one is over here, and so is a story significant thing. If I'm remembering correctly, yeah, this is an artifact that will get lore out of and everything. Doesn't matter a ton, but turning those in to specific vendors that we'll be meeting not too terribly far from now will be worth experience and things like that. So it's worth picking them up if we know where they are. It's not going to let me pick this up yet either, but the voice recorders are also collectibles. I'm going to be doing little needling things here and there in order to get experience, basically, is the short of it. But yeah, we are quite literally wiring the ghosts out of the city. And that is how we are rescuing the entirety of the city population. I'm not 100% sure about the clothes thing. You are very fixated on the clothes thing. But yeah, just like the 3 or 4 absorptions were like 500 people. Voice recorders. There's also gashapon machines that have little things that get used for selfie mode, which I don't even think we can activate yet. But we're not going to worry about those at all. They offer us nothing. We're getting our first one of these seals. You can do that a multitude of ways. I did it using the analog stick. You can use the touch-sensitive pad in the middle, which is decently responsive. I'm just a little too quick about it, and it doesn't read quite that well unless I'm doing it slowly, which I think is neat. Or you can hold circle, I believe, for a function called Let KK handle it, and that will have your companion take care of it for you, which I think is a nice option in case you're having any trouble with the controls. It's kind of like a per-use difficulty setting. But anyway, we have found his apartment.
Dare?
仲間だ。
え？
だったと言うべきか。あいつは奪うことをためらわない。俺たちもそうあるべきだった。
戦っていたのか。この人たちと一緒に。秘密基地って感じだな。
子供っぽいな。アジトって言えよ。
I might have cut off a little bit of dialogue there, but it doesn't matter too terribly much right now.
なんだよこれ。
気に入ったか。
I forgot you got the bow pretty much right away too.
こんなものどこで？
職業柄、まあいろいろつてがあってな。
Really good bow design.
何者なんだよ。
国の番犬かつはぐれ者のお友達ってところが。
どういう人間かは知らないけど、あんたがまともじゃないってことだけは分かったよ。
So now we have that, which I don't think I can whip out in here in general, which is fine. We don't really need to. There's a bunch of side lore items, naturally. That's how all open world games like this work. The KK's investigation notes are really cool because they're like little mini investigative detective stories, like kind of crossed over with spooky yokai-related sightings and stuff like that. Those are fun reads, but there's too many of them to go over on stream. It would be more dull than it needs to be.
なんだよそれ。
But they're some of my favorite collectibles in the game.
ただ、このどこかにあいつがいる。お前の妹もな。
どこかって。
武器も調達できたし、そろそろ行こうか。向こうの世界の食べ物だな。
Got some of that.
これってあんたの本？
うん。ガキの頃に
Spectral food is very good. Regular food is just healing, and that's it. All healing will raise your maximum health by minor decimal places. It's not by a lot. Can't do that yet. But spectral food will also give you certain buffs for a limited amount of time. But...
何かの参考にはなるかもな。
And that said, the investigation notes, I actually am surprised I spaced on this. Also, offer a fair amount of skill points. So we definitely want to grab those. In fact, you need to collect all of them to max out your skill tree. Fairly certain the next barrier is in the apartment above KK's. I don't know if you can actually die here, but we are getting another cool psychedelic sequence. Really neat visuals. So rad. Love that. I imagine that is just straight up a spawn zone inside a skybox, or inside, like, the skybox, rather. And that, our first bow kill is a seal. There's also all kinds of, you know, other side collectibles as well. I don't believe those types do anything for your experience. I'll probably grab them if they're in, like, visual range, just to make sure. We're set on that floor. I'm pretty sure there's just the one left. I'm pretty positive it's just on the roof, because there's only the 2 apartments that you can actually access. I don't know, I guess there's a third. Getting more twisted spaces.
どこに行けばいいんだ?
よく調べろ。何かあるはずだ。行き止まり? いや、上に行けそうだ。
I guess we don't want to go underneath there. It's been a really long time since I've done this particular section. Yeah, naturally clambering. This really doesn't want us to use that ability yet. There's a way to deal with that type of corruption that we haven't activated yet, that once we do have it, I'm just going to be using non-stop. So we're good on that. Now we're back to normal.
やれやれだな。これを仕掛けた奴がいるはずだ。外を調べるぞ。
I feel like there's one other item in here somewhere. It might be... I'm not going to look for too long, but I remember one of the other 2 apartments in KK's building having a particular collectible that I was curious about. But I can always swing through later. It's not a huge deal. Unless it's in here. It is not. That's fine. Don't need it. Not important.
よかった。結界は消えている。
まだ近くにいるかもしれない。下に行ってくれ。
Going downstairs. Okay, so we're gonna get this unlocked now too.
よし、俺の言う通りにやってみろ。
これは
さっきのはこいつの仕業か。追うぞ。
So we're going to follow this echoed image, but now we have spectral vision. Spectral vision is remarkably useful. If I double tap it, it should just fast forward. No, I guess not. But you're going to get basically temporary objective-based X-ray vision. So we can see the shopkeeper now, we can see his path, and now we can also see the points with which to cleanse this type of corruption. I'm just going to open up right there because it's the tutorial one. And now we can take care of it.
こういう奴らも多そうだな。先に進もうぜ。
痕跡が消えてる。
俺たちが追っていることに気づいたのかもな。まあいい。せっかくだから寄り道していこうぜ。この辺りに大きな神社があっただろう。何か役に立つものがあるかもしれない。そこに行ってみるぞ。
神社にそんなものがあるとは思えないけど。
わからないぜ。今使っている弓だって神社で見つけたんだ。
盗んだのか？
さあ。
Hey, they did clear up the dialogue. That is very, very nice. So his dunno who's to say in relation to Akito asking if he stole the bow from the shrine. Originally, the line was very snarkily localized as all property is theft, kid, which completely undermines the kind of listful way that KK is actually saying that line. So I'm glad that that actually got a repass. That also means that there's likely a fair deal of other stuff that got fixed up that way too, which I very much appreciate. Because that also means that they did some good listening to the fans as well. I can. So really fast. We don't have access to every piece of clothing. I am going to customize just a tiny bit. Do I have... I do. I'll probably leave that. So we got a shrine here. These ones are very important. And this is kind of the tutorial version of it. You can highlight them. They give that little jingle, which is helpful if you're close. If you pray at them, they are basically ammo upgrades. There are 30 shrines in total, I believe, the little Jizo statues. And those are going to be remarkably helpful for combat, especially with the other abilities that we're going to get that they will enhance. So I'm a big, big fan of finding those. That's the shrine that we need to get to, naturally. And we're going to do that via Tengu. So I'm down for that. I am going to round this corner first, grab a little bit of cash, and then I believe this is safe enough to go through. I might be wrong, though. Okay, no, I don't think I can get to them just yet. Spirits behind those buildings. Yes, I can. I can reach some of them anyway. The more spirits we pick up, the better. They are worth quite a bit of experience when you deposit them in bulk. Plus, it just feels good to help people. And then we'll also now be able to see like objects inside lockers and things like that too. Anyway, we're going up.
Oh! びっくりした。
案外うまくいくもんだ。
There is a ability on the skill tree that I'm going to try and grab pretty much right away that lets you summon Tengu so that you can basically grapple wherever and whenever you want instead of at fixed locations. It's arguably the most useful skill in the game, and we're going to want that. Distance cleanse. And I need to make sure that I'm not being an idiot, because you unlock a glide skill, which makes it easier to go from rooftop to rooftop, and I don't have that right now, so I need to make sure that I don't think that I do, and then go, you know, tumbling off a building, especially when it's not as easy for me to get back up. Taking care of that, I'm gonna pick up more Katsushiro. Picking up more of them is going to make it so that our capacity for carrying rogue spirits is increased. So the more of them, the better too, because it means we'll get bigger experience deposits when we drop off like full wires of ghosts. And it's also going to make it so that we don't miss out on any that we're passing, or more often than not. Also, since we're kind of officially into it, forgive me for slacking, I'm going to bump us up to Spookwatch level 1. And we'll see where we go from there. So now we have a lot more information on the map. Side missions I'll keep active, and for a while I'll leave some more stuff open as well. This game does a pretty solid job of letting you filter stuff, though. I am not particularly worried about having certain things active on the map at all times. So I'm going to go ahead and turn some of them off while I'm thinking about it. No, Tango should be on for right. That's okay. We might need to take on some side missions at the moment to help clear more of the map, but right now all we need to do is head towards the main mission. So we'll head in that direction after we pick up this laptop. Also going to hop us down here to collect some more spirits. It looks like I do have basic glide already.
びっくりした。死んでも落ちるのは怖えんだよ。
ごめん。おい、
準備しろ。
That particular enemy type get overwhelming pretty quick. Hit by that. The moment your tether for that particular type of purge is broken, you lose the ability to do it easily. Depending on damage thresholds, you can activate it again, but more often than not, you just kind of lose the opening to do it proper. It's not the end of the world, like I said, it's not worth anything just yet.
鳥を浄化していけば道は開くはずだ。それに霊になったものを救える。つまりあいつに嫌がらせができるってことだ。
These guys, we're almost at capacity right now. Eventually we'll be able to carry 50 at a time, which is a huge boon. Sometimes they can be a little hard to see when they're backlit too, but it's not a huge deal. It's also technically the right direction, too. If I can, I'm gonna wait. Oh, no, you weren't turned around yet. That's my fault. Taking care of a decent amount. That's going to be a little on the slow side for a little bit. Corruption. That's perfect. Now all we need is a phone booth. Hey! Also perfect. Turn in a full stack of these really fast and then check the skill tree to see what we can grab right now. Certain thing is going to be gated in ways that we can't deal with just yet, but pretty soon.
魂の転送を確認した。時間はかかるが例になった人も実体を取り戻せるだろう。このまま進めてくれ。録音された音声かな。
エドは人と話すのが苦手なんだよ。
So we've already saved 1,700 people. I'm pretty into that.
おい、新しい技教えてやろうか。今の状態なら覚えられるはずだぜ。
Alright. So what do we have active right now? Spectral vision range boost I'm not particularly worried about. Dodge is one of the newer abilities that is quite helpful. So I may grab that, but I want to make sure I'm not leaving anything in particular out that I want. Summon Tengu is expensive, but we also need a fair amount of them, so that should be fine for a while. What about... I'm going to go for the speed boost once, just for now, and I'm also going to go for... healing from boost, or from core grabs, and melee core grab. I've been missing that. That's a good starting set. So now we can dodge, which isn't going to initiate unless we're actively in combat. We're also going to grab this Jizo statue. They turn to look at you. Always helpful to grab them. And this large shrine is going to be an as far as I'm aware, we're not going to be able to just do it. There's more to it than just cleansing the one shrine. We actually need to go into this building and do multiple things. Because it's a major area. So this is almost like a base infiltration mission. I'm going to start by hopefully getting a quick purge on this gentleman here. Cleanse the first of 3 sub points. The individual ones don't offer anything specifically. We're going to need to cleanse all 3 before it's actually over and done with. Next one's got some combat adjacent to it. If we're lucky, will get at least one quick off. So when you're in the stealth from behind or melee-related grabs, you can still be hurt, but you won't be interrupted. It's really helpful for getting consistent core grabs off if you're in a big brawl. That's the second. Here right now, we just got to go for the third, which I know has a little bit of protection going on, but not a lot. Ah. Boost is remarkably helpful, even just that first. I'm gonna see. Let's just do it. I don't remember if this will despawn them or not. Oh, well, it'll certainly cancel. It's interesting that the bar continued. Initially, when I was doing all these larger cleansing quests, I was still a lot more antsy about the combat. I don't know if I was ever bold enough to just, like, try that. Not as much of an issue anymore. So we've cleansed our first large shrine. That's going to be a good chunk of map reveals. And now we're getting more capable on fast traveling as well. So not only can you bounce between shrines, but you'll also be able to bounce between certain vendors as well. Yeah, let's roll this, just to see. So these are random benefits, or detriments. Knowing my luck, there's one that's extremely rare that I had to farm for like an hour and a half in order to get one particular trophy, which everybody hates. But that was a good effect. Damage inflicted by visitors will be halved temporarily. Get some supplies. I'm not worried about paper stuff. I am worried about grabbing you. It's not this one. And I believe it's the main one this way. Yeah, there we go. Every shrine always has a maker reward at it, even the small ones. And then offerings as well, which we're going to be using to find a couple extra things. So you can pray at shrines. We're going to donate larger amounts because we're going to be able to do things like mark Jizo statues that we don't have already on the map. You can't do that at every shrine, unfortunately, but it's definitely going to be helpful. Just to cut down on unnecessary search time. Now we have our next weaving build.
次は情報を集めるぞ。渋谷を見渡せる場所はないか。
陰りへの展望台とかは？
悪くない。
タヌキ。
And now we are going to activate this subquest too, just to have it. It doesn't matter a ton, but it's a persistent one that lasts a while. There'll be a hidden tanuki right around here somewhere to introduce you to the concept of finding them. And it will also remind me off the top of my head whether or not
Ah, そうだ。警察は嫌いか？
いや、その割には口が悪
that
い
is
なと思って。
worth
警察
experience.
なんてこんなもんだよ。
You can usually tell when they're around. No. Okay, so that's not as much of a priority. It's been a little while since I've collected any of them as well, so I'm glad to have that clarified just in case. Leave. I thought there were some spirits directly right here, but I guess not. What do we have at vendors right now?
おいおい。
猫にほ。
That'll be good for turning in money. We want to pick up investigation notes. The things that we want from here aren't music or emotes or outfits or anything like that. The investigation notes are worth skill points, and then there's going to be another item that's going to help with the skill tree as well. They're more expensive, so that's why I'm collecting money. I'm not quite as worried about buying healing items, because we're going to find a lot of those just around. But I am definitely worried about picking up cash to pick those up. Because controllable ways to grab those is going to be quite helpful. Right, quite a bunch of those. We should now also have... Goodness. I need to run a little bit more filter on this. Turn off you. These are just ones that we've completed, basically, so it's not a huge deal if they're off. Landmark, spot, that's fine. Yokai Hunt. Shop Stall and Relic Hunters I will leave open. It's still a lot. Oh, shops. Regular convenience stores. I did want to turn those off. Actually, I think the shop stalls I'm safe to turn off as well. So that should be a bigger help. I believe the one that's getting picked up this way is one that I already have. But I do want to grab that Jizo statue that I prayed for.
Shibuya Love 8だよ。渋谷のマスコット。
Why am I doing this in a complicated way? I can just filter the Jizo statues and it should only turn off the ones that I've already picked up. Should leave the one that I don't have. No, doesn't look like it. Okay, so I do need to keep that one turned on. No, just waypoint that one. I don't think I've gone that direction yet, so that should be the one. But can't leave these. These are optional. Fire weaving doesn't mess around, but it's way more expensive and a little bit harder to recharge. Right, we got that. That's good. Gonna keep heading towards our waypoint. Grab that Jizo statue. I want to say, is this the bathroom that has a... Yep, there it is. Here's the shrine. This isn't one that I had. So, there's two in this sector. We might not necessarily have access to the other one because the fog is in some of the area that we would be searching. We're gonna head this way. Yeah, we have to head this way, because that's the next one that we're going to be unlocking. It's going to unlock our route to where we need to be going next. Spirits on the way. We can help it. Yeah, I'll grab a spare. Shiro. I don't want to grab too many of them because we're going to be saving up for other items as well, but that is universally helpful. Really good visual on that. Didn't get it at the very last minute. Hey, it's not the most important thing in the world, but hey. It's always worth it to do a quick swing by and grab these corrupted zones as well. It's spirits, and it's also making sure that if for whatever reason you ever need to make a quick getaway through the area another time, it's good and open. Fit one more, and then we need a deposit. So before we go down into the construction site, because that's going to queue up something, I'm going to deposit these spirits very conveniently right here. Put that up too, just to have it. net some more skill points. I usually like to do it when it's maxed out because it's technically the most efficient, but I'm also now very used to having max capacity, and that is very different right now.
マリの声が聞こえる。助けてって。僕には力が必要なんだ。
That is an additional 20 skill points. I'm gonna sit on those for right now, I think. I also need to be making sure that I'm grabbing takeout bags. If it's your people. So there's no fall damage. I don't think... It might trigger as soon as I get close. Or like when I start.
鳥居があった。浄化する。俺に貸せ。ありがとう。礼はいい。来るぞ。マジか。いいのもらっちまったな。
I'd rather not get cornered. So she's not a boss by any means, but these ones are naturally very beefy compared to normal visitors. We are out of wind. And now we're not. We're set on that. I'm pretty positive there's an artifact down here, but it can wait. I'll grab this though, just to top off this. Oh, never mind. There it is. It's a Dogu doll. So grabbing artifacts, those you sell to certain collector Nakamata, and that will give you a fair amount of money. So they're not helpful, even if it's not direct experience that you're getting out of it. Now we're going to get our last weaving element. Wind, fire, and now we have water. More spirits down here, because you will always prioritize. Alright. Going up. Relatively good. We're going to be using wind a lot. It's a good bread and butter. It's cheap and fast. Recharging it is really easy. Fairly certain this is a shrine. It might be a shop. Easily do that. So water packs a little bit more of a punch, but its major benefit is that it's wide, and its upgradable stat is width, so you can use it to kind of current control. And then its DLC ability is quite useful as well. Probably not going to get for a while. Well, that depends. Probably going to upgrade a lot of that over to bow, unfortunately. The bow's a little stiff. Water upgrade. What are you saying?
本当だ。
ま
こんなものまであるのかよ。
Food, not worried about it. So that wouldn't be not helpful, but right now, just gonna keep up movement down. Although I am going to
人もいないし、電車も来ない。街が死んで
do
る
a
証拠
quick cleanse.
あ、ここ気味が悪いな。
今はどこでも気味が悪いぞ。気にするな。
We're not going to be able to until we're out of combat. Luckily these guys are lightweights. Absorption speed is going to be a really helpful upgrade later on too, but it's not a major priority for me. See if we can just ignore the rest of that combat to cleanse this. Not looking like it. Take that off. This is a decently sized area. Also, quite busy. Pretty sure there's an artifact in one of the closed stalls too. Nope. Took more damage than I was expecting to. I knew I was going to take damage, I didn't think I was going to take that much. We're going to use our first fire charge attack here. I'm hoping that would be nice hard. That's great. So naturally, you don't want to touch the corruption. Needed retreat here pretty soon. Healing off of you. You. Okay, this is really terrible.
車の上に乗ることって
Over.
おいおい、持ち主がいたら怒られるぞ。
I don't know if I've ever caught that particular audio. We'll be back through this area a good couple times. I don't want to run myself ragged just trying to do that. That said, if I'm remembering right, leave them alone. The next one's up the building. Oh, I'm gonna leave you alone too. There are some big fish over this way that I'm not prepared to deal with just yet. I do believe right now observation deck. So... Oh, I guess this... Is this location already? No, not technically yet. I do think I need to head inside, though. Cash. So this type of spirit, I think the implication is that they were killed in a certain disaster, or basically freeing them from what was physically binding them, to a degree anyway. And you do that by performing more hand seals, which is a neat way to mix the collection up a little bit. Now there's some more collectibles that way. We need to go up. Is there any Tengu? Let's just assume we're going to the next objective right now. We'll definitely hit all the shrines over time. Which means I think we are forced to deal with this particular enemy, which I can't say I'm thrilled for, but if we're careful, we can quick purge it. So they are particularly scary. We really don't want it to spot us. These ones are more or less indirect encounters. It is going to summon a much larger enemy or larger group if it spots us. That's what we want to see. As long as we're behind you and you aren't moving, then we should be done. Thank God. I'll almost certainly intentionally go through each type of combat encounter just to show all of them off. Now is not the right time.
Yes.
Know that there's a Jesus statue near here somewhere. Should be under one of these overpass pillars. Necromant money is always important. They are huge payouts. Yeah, here. Get that out of the way.
再開発したって今の東京じゃ意味ねえな。
So I believe there's a collectible right down here. Not the Necomata. Other end of one of these canals, although I will definitely take the money as well. Oh, okay. The next one is temporarily inaccessible because of the fog. I could dash in there and try to grab them, but it's not necessary at the moment. Take the high ground. Use a little bit of bow since there's free ammo right here. Not wholly necessary. Skirted the fog a little bit dangerously. Quick purge just to do it. Going up a really, really cool steps. Subquest. I don't know if that's anything that we can fully do right now. Isn't the worst. Might as well turn in 8, grab some more experience. Because it's always worth it to get more levels. So this is... You know what? I am going to do this one right now. So we're going to deal with our first yokai. Because these are going to be very helpful for certain unlocks. And this one's relatively short.
出た。どうすればいい？
キュウリを食い始めるまで隠れてます。キュウリ食ってる時が狙い目だぞ。焦んなよ。
Flashlight off so I can actually see what I'm doing. As far as I'm aware, this one is going to be just a short circuit before it becomes vulnerable. We have to wait until it's eating the cucumber, so I would love to be able to do that. The yokai, more often than not, will run away from you and reset if it sees you criteria. Not all of them. Some of them are chases. But some of them are more like, I guess I'll call it a movement puzzle. It's not particularly difficult, especially this one, because it's the tutorial version of it. This is definitely the first one of these that you're expected to be doing. Some of them get a lot more intensive than that. But this is essentially the version of me holding it upside down. So now we have our first Magatama. The way the skill tree works is... As soon as I free this child... Completed our first side quest. Good and easy one. Definitely profitable. The way the skill tree works is anything that is gated by those yin-yangs require a Magatama, or a certain amount of Magatama. We want to fast-track to grapple summon Tengu, which is going to require 7 Magatama, 6 now, and a fair amount of skill points as well. So it's going to take me a while to get all 7 Magatama, because they only come from yokai or shops, and when they're from shops, they're like, I think at minimum 100 grand. They might even be like 3. So it's going to take a little bit to actually get there. But that is the first thing that I want to ungate. It is an extremely useful skill for getting all the shrines. In the meantime, though, I do think I'd like some ammo capacity upgrade. Or no, what am I talking about? That's the Jizo statues. That's usually a trump card. Grab speed boost would be really helpful. It's pretty cheap right now. Ground core grab, absolutely. Absorb speed boost, absolutely. And I think we are going to go with... let's do dodge, because I keep expecting to have it. And I thought I got it before, but I guess I zoned out and just didn't. that way. Can't go in that direction just yet, so I think we actually need to move through the building. It's been a while since I've actually had to come inside here, so it'll be neat to see a lot of this again. And just for the sake of your viewing pleasure, I'll go for some bow. Bearing in mind that headshots are not possible on those three, so if I can help it... There we go. A bow headshot just for you. So now that their ground quick purge is unlocked, if I knock them over, just get it. Didn't quite get the triple, that's fine. But now, if they're prone like that, then you reach them, combat is over. It's really helpful. And we're kind of approaching the point in Chapter 3 where we're going to be getting the ability where core collection actually becomes important rather than just flashy. Oops, sorry. Gotta go for the money. And the dash ability, or dodge rather, is DLC, of all things. Like I said, it only activates when you're not necessarily active in combat, but if combatants are kind of present. So, like, I can't dodge right now, because that just kind of does sprint as you do. But it's a really nice addition. I actually remember some of the earlier reviews criticizing the fact that it didn't have a dodge mechanic baked in from the start, so that was definitely more of them actually listening to feedback, which is really nice. Oh. So, we're not going to be able to actually quick purge him. He is a beefy, essentially a mini-boss, but we will get a chunk of damage off on him if we try. And that's not nothing, because he hits real hard. Especially for early game. Fire, that's not great. I'll do my best to actually clip him with this when he gets over here. Oh, never mind, that's a wide hitbox I've got there. Unfortunate. Benefit, though, is that he is going to drop money. Okay, a good chunk of it. Again, at least for this early on. They are really scary, and there's one or two encounters later on where you fight at least two of them at once. And the way core exposure works is over time, they'll kind of recover. So you really need to be maintaining your hits, otherwise it doesn't become futile because damage is still damage, but you will kind of reach a point where you're getting kind of diminishing returns on what you're actually getting out of the combat. It's also less energy efficient. certain encounters, energy efficiency, even late game, can be a pretty big deal.
よし、ひとまずこれで安心だな。
Positive there's a artifact or something somewhere around here. That's nether food. If we get really lucky, the nether food that we want to be getting are the cans of tea, because their benefit isn't like attack or defense or stealth or anything like that. It is just a larger HP increase. And again, literally anytime you heal, you're upping your health bar by a very small percentage. So the quicker we can do that, the better.
気になる場所は力を使って調べてみろ。
There's the perfect block.
お、やるな。筋がいいぞ。
Really fast. Then I will. Getting interrupted out of them is going to be worse than just not doing it at all. Alright. Cleanse the rooftop and we are on our way.
社に何かないか調べておけよ。
パッチ当たりだな。
I believe this is our first talisman. In fact, I think this is, yeah, stun talisman is going to be a big help.
お札か。これも使えそうだ。
So this is more physical gear. The distinction between those two things will become more and more apparent as we go.
手に入れたお札を試してみる。
Getting a tutorial for it. And now we've also got our quick wheel. If you're quick enough, then you are capable of getting quick purges off within stun talismans. The thing is, equipping or replenishing stun talismans, any talismans really, there's multiple types, are purchases. You can find them scattered around, but they're very rare. So you're better off just buying them. But that can get a little bit more pricey. And we are saving up for Magatama and investigation modes. The less we have to do that, the better. Is one. I knew there was an artifact around here somewhere. Sneaky.
なんだ?
So with that shrine cleanse, we can now ascend higher up the tower.
手っ取り早く外から登っていくぞ。使えるものがないか注意を払え。
Unfortunately, we're not gonna. We're gonna need to come back here for an item later on.
昔を知らないから何とも言えないよ。
ガキとは話が合わねえから困るよ。
Because it's way at the top, and you're not going to be able to get that out the Tinker Anywhere ability. Healer. I honest to God forgot there were healer enemies like that. It doesn't show up more often late game. Alright.
先を急がなきゃ。
I don't know if you can hear the whispering sound effect either, which is sort of a bummer. But when visitors, the generic enemies, are nearby, you get kind of a glitchy jump scare horror game style glitchy sound. Controller at the very least. Really forgot how resource intensive early game is. Kind of ramps up the tension, which I like. Oh shit! Fuck everything we're doing. Blindsided like that. I feel like the same thing happened to me the first time. Unfortunate. I don't know if saving one saves both or if that one's just gone. It's not a huge deal. It's a huge deal that I'm this low, though. Rough. Yeah, looks like the other one is just out. A shame. But we'll take half, for sure. So not 100% sure. Okay. Alright, back to it. Really glad I caught that. Doing a bunch of ether farming. Don't want to pass up any refills since there's going to be more combat up the way. I think that's everything right there. Also, fuck these escalators. For real, I have no idea if this is based on a real building, but it's terrifying if it is. Well, I think it is based on a real building. I don't know if that particular portion of it is real or not. Arrows. Which is extra helpful because if I can get headshots on these generic goons, I would like to. All I'm going to do is alert it, looks like. Technically not noticed. I will take that. Headshot there. There. Ah! Aim sensitivity. I'm so used to the fall off being more intensive. Not the smoothest. But also not the worst. We're not going to be able to open that until we get around to the other side. There's a couple goodies in there, but nothing that's enormously vital. It drove me nuts the first playthrough. I want to go up there. Just want to take a peek around the corner. Totally stealthy. Oh, game, why are you like this? That way. And we're set. There's an item over there, which I might grab on the way down because it involves basically not a point of no return, but, you know, I can't really climb efficiently right now. We have our first prayer beads. Technically our fourth. So these are the New Game Plus items. We have unlimited ammo, we have nearly impossible to be spotted, and we have transmit spirits from anywhere. I don't know if I want to use them in particular. If anything gets really challenging, I might, but I don't want to trivialize the combat too terribly much just to show it off better. So what the gust beads do is a light percentage buff to wind damage. Right now, we can only hold one set of beads, but eventually we'll be upgraded to be able to hold 3.
妹とよく言ったよ。絶対に助けてやるぞ。マリ。
まだそこに未練があるのか？
死にかけたからね。
Trying to remember. Oh, there we go.
外はどうなってるんだろ
う。気にしても仕方ない。俺たちはここで戦うだけだ。
There we go.
さっき見失ったやつだ。
are getting set to go down.
地下に降りていったな。
そこに奴らの拠点があるのかも。
何回も逃がしてたまるかよ。おうぞ。
Just a little bit more of this. Pick up some cash. Yeah, there's another item up there that I'm curious about. I never finished that subquest on my main one because it wasn't part of Platinum. I think it has to do with DLC editions. But we can't get up there just yet. I also don't know if I have the glide range to make this. I'm certainly going to try. Oh, just barely. Well, there's no fall damage, so it's fine. I don't remember what that subquest is. What to do? Turn some of this filtering off. I need side missions. Oh no, that's right. Hide completed icons is a separate. There we go. That's much better. So I think we're good to just progress that mission. Let's just go for it. There isn't a whole lot we can do at length right now. And it's really not worth going out of your way to try and explore everything and find extra stuff until this next story step. Cash and experience is one thing. No, you're both of those things. Ghost Melon, and you, I think there was... Where are you hiding? There you are.
なんだこりゃ。
Those.
そういえば、あの転送機っていつの間に作ったの？
I know there's
敵が準備していたようにこっ
a
ちも
satellite dish Tanuki over here, but that's not a priority because they don't actually offer anything. That's good. We're progressing. food. Boost that HP up. You're more of just food. This one activated. Okay. Yeah, that's the terror of the little kids. Oh, hey Ben, I just saw that you got back. And they didn't quite see me through the wall. I was kind of visible through the shop stall. But also, that particular enemy type has a very aggressive alert range, because their whole thing is being like, don't see me, don't see me, don't see me, oh shit, you saw me. So, also this is good timing. You've basically missed out on some more of the slower crawl. We went up a skyscraper. I think you missed all of that, but that's fine because we're going to have to go back there for some item stuff later anyway. But now we're getting to some new, really cool atmospheric stuff. So you're actually right on time that way. We're going into the Shibuya Underground. Fuck, you don't want to go that way. Pick these boys up first. So at present, the mission is tracking the goon who set up the trap in KK's safe house. Or around KK's safe house, rather. So we are hot on their trail. Okay, there we go. You can trigger them to basically just turn into images instead of having to slowly follow. I think you need to get ahead of them and then tap it again. It's really nice when that triggers. That direction, in that direction. You're actually roaming around. You know what? Since you weren't here for it, Ben, let's showcase the stunt talisman. Nice area of influence. Wasn't all three of them, but we'll take it. We now also have a couple other purging options, none of which triggered just then. Oh, the stun talismans? Yeah, no, I mean, they're a lot of fun. They're very satisfying. Oh, this guy. I am obligated. Who do you think you are trying to get tickets? You don't have anywhere to go. So I'm gonna move down here. Grab you. Those are vitally important. Those are the ones that give you a larger max HP boost. So we're gonna want as many Nether Suriko as we can get, which is not a lot. Oh, you were exposed. There we go. See, the KK investigation notes, again, are very important. They're worth 20 skill points a pop, which is a really high amount. That's more or less a freebie every time. Also, high artifact. Right next to this very, very cool fake game poster. There's a couple, actually, I'll show off while we're down here. There's Blue Earth. There's Dead Drank District. And then, fighting game. There we go. Wild Fighters. And some food. I think those are the only three. Yeah, we're gonna progress deeper into the underground. Fair amount of this is pretty linear right now. I'm still going to stop and grab all the cash I can. Ben, you weren't around for the explanation, but I'm prioritizing cash because Magatama, which are used to unlock skill gates, and KK investigation notes are available in certain shops, and they're expensive. So I'm not worried about item completion so much as I am making sure that my skill tree is where I would like it to be. And that is a pretty important way of doing it, because instead of having to hunt all over the map and everything for certain unlocks, those are literally instances of just going to a shop and buying them. And there's a fixed number, too. Like, the ones that exist are the ones that exist, and that's it. So if I don't get the ones from the shop, then I'm just limiting myself. I suppose it wouldn't be ethical to sneak up on her in the bathroom, huh? Ooh, nothing in any of you, but we do have an artifact. It's one of the toilet knives. I believe there's two. And then, similarly, I'm not going for full completion on the artifacts, but the artifacts are sold to certain Nekomata, and they are sold for a decent high amount. So that is just more money farming. If I run into one, then I'll grab it. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear that tone, or if that's another one that's only coming through the speaker, but we got another artifact. They give a little whining jingle when you walk by them. It's kind of hard to describe. There's going to be another one right at the end of this tunnel, too. So we're actually pretty ripe with spare cash right now. Creepy mummified dog, I think, right here. Yeah, there you are. Dog head. You know, nice and cheery. Getting into another psychedelic portion. You're actually here for some of the cooler early game visuals, so I'm really excited that you got back when you did. I was kind of worried you'd miss this chunk, because this is like a nice big portion of good, meaty early half of the game content. Basically, you missed the most missable stuff. Scan range, probably. Before I go through, how am I doing? Skill points. I've got 45. That's not bad. Yeah, I'll give you a boost. I want to give you a double boost. Not particularly worried about any of those. I do kind of want the talisman stuff, and you would be helpful. We'll do you right now. And then... that, and then glide distance. That's a good set right now. Got this. Just like exceptionally good, weird. Love that visual. Correctly, there's an artifact down here in one of the corners. There you are.
Nanda?
I want to say there's an investigation note somewhere relatively close by too. A set of prayer beads that home in on investigation notes, which I would like as soon as I can get it. But I don't remember which shrine that's at, so it's very possible it's way later in the game. It's not like I can just pick and choose which ones I go to. But here is the first weird item that I don't know what it does. I figure it'll be a nice surprise for the stream, whatever the hell it is. Got a blue stone. And that's all you need to know. Love this visual, like, just this being underground like this is so rad. Got an encounter. So we now have the first of 3 major boss fights, not counting the finale. And for early on, he hits pretty decently. Fortunately, stuff like the stun talisman won't work again. terrible at dodging his water moves.
化け物がわめいてるんだろ。
Also, short on energy. Next time I hit critical too, I need to make sure that I go into the pause menu and use a specific healing item. First, unmasked a member of the goon squad.
なんだどうした。
あいつどこまで行かれてやがるんだ。
待って、どういうこと。
早く来んでろ。
And we have a major reveal.
攻撃しないんだ。
こいつは俺だ。あいつ俺の体を操り人形にしてやがった。
何。
You actually had a chance to see a lot of this early on, so in a way you're pretty caught up.
倒せってのが俺の体だぞ。
逃げよ
いや、奪い返す。 俺の体帰って。
This deserves a spooky upgrade. We are at Spook Watch level 2.
今日お母さんの3回忌だよ。お父さんの時だって一度も会いに行ってないじゃない。またそうやって逃げるの？逃げてるだけじゃ何も変わらない。
違う。僕はただ違うんだ。戻ったのか。
And not in an ideal position.
引き剥がされた。じゃあなんで僕は生きて。あれでだとしたら。 消えてる。全部力も経験も。
It's okay, now the quest is to find the quest buddy.
マリをどう探せば。
Back to the future. Alright, so we're a teeny bit tense right now. The majority of our abilities are absent. Literally nothing that uses spiritual energy is available right now. We have no spectral vision, we have none of the weaving abilities, and we can't grapple even if a Tengu is nearby. I don't even know if we can see Tengu, though we probably can. I don't think that much is blocked. So we're going to want to avoid combat if we can help it, because right now we basically just have 5 arrows and that's it. What we do also still have access to, though, are things like Quick Purge, because those operate off of talismans. So we're capable of doing that, which is absolutely helpful. So still able to grab food, obviously. There's nothing we can do about corrupted zones because we don't have the ability to check for them. We can still pick up nether food, though. That's actually kind of interesting. Could cheese this by using the don't see me beads, but like I said, I don't want to cheapen things unnecessarily. I know. Nope. I would like for you to turn around. Let's... Good, slow. Thank you. Can't go down that way to grab some more money. That way's safer. That way is money. Choose money. Okay, yeah, her I 1000% don't want. I don't even know if 10 arrows is enough to kill her unless I'm netting like every single headshot, and I won't. So let's... Oh, okay. There. This gentleman here, we're going to speed up. This floor is safe, so let's again cut Shiro or gear, so we're not unable to absorb spirits that way, thankfully. Positive there's an artifact up top where we're going to. I need to make sure I don't zone out and forget to grab that. There is the large money down there, but I'm not gonna fuck around with the Shears visitor. That's just not happening. Nobody on this floor. That way should lead up catwalk. I will grab money. Yeah, I think there's like an investigation note or something up there, but without spectral vision to highlight it, that would just be a bunch of aimless wandering, and I'm not going to subjugate us to that right now when we're close-ish to Chapter 3. That said, this is the top, which means if I'm remembering correctly, the artifact that I'm thinking of should be over here. I think. Maybe not. Another safety loop just to see. Nothing. Not worth it. We're good. love that visual. Ideally. I don't know if they're going to turn around and come back this way or not. Just a little bit quicker crouch than she is walking, and we're set. Really fast before I leave this room, I think there might be an investigation note in here. No? Okay, that's fine. It might be closer to the end of this stretch. Not having spectral vision makes me feel like I'm blind. Haven't used any arrows yet, so that's really good. Deal with that. And I think that's it. Like, I think it's just this guy up here. No longer a problem. I could have sworn. That's fine. I am going to grab an arrow, though. Max myself out on that before I progress further. Because now we're heading up, which will at least help with escape measures. Not quite as cornered. Also, hello, fourth viewer. Thank you for joining. No pressure to chat. I'm happy you're here anyway. Right, so we're back on the surface. Everything is substantially safer now that we at least have the free range of movement. Gonna pick up a couple stray spirits. We can't do anything about the corruption over there yet because we can't expose it to core. So right now, we're just gonna beeline back here. And I can't fast travel without KK, which I actually think is kind of a neat detail, to be perfectly honest. I dig that. Those. Yeah, we're going to be avoiding combat as best we possibly can. Or at the very least running away from it like cowards, just because I suck with the bow. Very least, you. Zip down this alleyway. No, dog, what are you doing? Bud. Bud, what are you doing? No! Oh, well, I guess that's, Spirit Shiba. Nice and easy. Back. Before I go in, I'm going to deposit. Just get a little bit of this out of the way. We've already saved almost 10,000 spirits. And that feels pretty good. So KK's not here. We are here to help investigate where he is. Which means we're getting introduced to a new character.
誰だ？写真の。
ずいぶん仲良くしてたみたいじゃない？あの口の悪い男と。で、助けたいのね。でもできるかしら、そのおもちゃだけで。力が必要でしょ、彼の。
でもどこに連れて行かれたかわからない。
あなたやっぱり気づいてないのね。彼とのつながりは自分の中にある。
Vitally important pep talk information.
え？
これ彼に渡してくれる？大切なものだから。
I appreciate the fact that there is just an open acknowledgement that going into the spirit world or underworld or whatever you want to call these kind of pocket phenomena directly interact in at least some regard. She shows him the object, doesn't actually get to hand it to him, but now he's fully aware of where and what it is, you know, to a degree. And a fifth viewer. Happy to have you.
これって。
We're getting to the exciting middle point right now, actually, so you've entered at a good time.
なんだ？
I doubt I can grab these. Yeah. Okay, yeah, no I can't. That's fine. Instead, we're going to follow this very friendly-looking trail.
女の人が言ってたつながりって冗談だろ。
Which is, ironically,
KK がいる。
a friend trail.
つながっているんだ。僕の
Talk
中
to
に
you without KK?
KK の力がまだあ
I
るん
can.
だ。
That seems silly. Do you have anything that I need? No, you do not. That's fine. I think for the most part I'm safe to just mad dash here. And we don't have a waypoint, so it isn't like I can shortcut or find a more optimal route or anything like that. That said, I'm fairly certain there's a collectible in this phone booth. I was right. I'm also fairly certain you're about to get perched.
これしか手はない。
Keep on KK's trail, try to get there decently fast. Getting trailed, but I'm pretty positive that at some point, yeah, they'll just break off. This part is kind of the boss of this challenge. Individual combat is workable, but we are being provided with a bunch of enemies that we can't headshot and a terrifying summoner. So, a spirit to grab. Thank you for showing me that cutscene. And then again, we can't use spectral vision to highlight their movement. So we need to be extra sneaky. Especially with the summoner around. luckily, like any stealth portion of any modern video game, bushes work very much to our advantage. However, we do still need to be mindful of corners and directions we're taking. Fairly positive. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I was gonna say I'm gonna risk it, but no, I am not. Now. I do not want to run. Oh! Slight mistake. So door in your face, if they can open doors. It's never really occurred to me to check. But I did just find 20 skill points and some healing items. So I am down for that. That worked out really well, actually. Cash. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that the bow is most effective via headshot, and enemies that don't have heads can't be headshot. You will deal lasting damage if you hit body shots, but you have so few arrows that it's not really worth the cost. I don't think. See me through windows? No, I guess not. Alright. What do I have on food? Do have a nether go. Let's go ahead and use that. Get a beefy 0.8 increase as opposed to the normal 0.4. Which sounds like nothing, but it really does stack up quite nicely. You? Huh. Getting closer. I'm almost positive this particular shrine has an artifact or something hidden in one of these rooms, but it's so hard to see that. Oh shit. That's extra bad. I don't want to be in here with you. Oh damn. think we're set. I think we're set. So I'm fairly certain all you need is to be not noticed. Oh, damn it, you were facing me. I don't want to overuse these. Alright, bye. I'm just gonna leave her on the other side. The artifact sound. I think that's from inside. Come on, turn around. Come on. Come on. There we go. Don't last for that long. There we go. So yeah, it's just an alert status thing. So we're gonna be getting a nice little boost in just a moment. This is a good character moment.
遅えんだよ。
助けに来るって分かってたような口ぶりだな。
助け？何様のつもりだ。俺の力が必要だから来た。そういうことだろ。それは
アジトで女の人から押し付けられた。
はあ？あいつ生きてるのか？
いや。
死んでまで世話焼きとはな。
家族だろ。あんた。
That deep discomfort knowing that all the characters that you like are kind of already dead.
進む方向が同じ。それだけだ。
これはしまっておく。で、来るんだろ一緒に。
人に物を頼む態度じゃねえな。
頼んではいない。取引だ。お互い拒否はできない。
後悔すんなよ。
I really appreciate the like the glasses are optional. Akito doesn't normally wear glasses, but having him at camera angles where the light works on the lenses is extra cool.
お前の連れか？
ああ、仲良くしてやってくれよ。
仕方ねえな。遊んでやる。
So now not only do we have KK back, but we have a new ability, which I wish it wasn't forcing me to use over here, called Wire In. The shockwave decimates enemy integrity, it slows everything down, speeds up your pulls, and gives you a damage boost. And the entire reason that I keep mentioning that eventually capturing cores is going to be helpful is that is how you fuel the meter to charge it. It is dope. It's really satisfying. It also gives you full ammo and everything else. It's a really good super mode.
これでいい。器は満ちつつある。
マリが取っておけよ。
これお父さんとお母さんの？
うん、結婚記念日にあげたやつ。
ありがとう。
I forgot about this cutscene. It
大事にするね。
does some good work. Hello, new viewer. You came in at quite a time. And they're gone. Perfect timing. Even if it was just for that one moment.
Nanda?
Getting to some less than stellar things happening. But at least we know where our waypoint is.
Mari.
時間がない。急ぐぞ。
I'd say that is more or less right on time.
まずはここを浄化して霧を消すぞ。
Let's go ahead and cleanse this gate. As you do. Do a quick sanity check for the artifact that I know is present nearby because I heard it.
仲間なんだね。
リンコのことか？さあな、どうとも言えん。
どういう意味？
仕事仲間だ。仲がいい必要なんてあるか？
See it right in there. Gonna you. There you are. All hail the magic conch. Don't need to worry about that right now because we are wrapping up. I would like to grab these spirits just for good measure. Yeah, we are at a great stopping point. We're coming up on 9. So that is going to do it for this evening. I won't progress this save file any further. I don't have any reason to, personally, until the next stream. So we'll be able to pick up pretty much right where we left off. I am half tempted to do maybe a little bit of grinding, but I will, I'll see how that goes. I'm not particularly worried about it. again, though, just for safe measure, pick you up. Start us off here. Save. Let's just grab. I think right here is fine. That should bump that save file. Yep, right up to the top. That is perfect. All right, well, I'm glad you guys got to catch a chunk of it. We're basically through the first, let's call it, third of the game with that Chapter 2 completion. The next chapters are going to be a little bit beefier, but I'm pretty positive we'll be able to get through the majority of it as needed, especially depending on how other streams go for the rest of October. I will keep everybody posted, and I'm looking forward to picking up on this again as soon as I can. But yeah, everybody have a good evening.